Coach, I think about a week last week when you came in here, you mentioned Cam Shanks. He'd been banged up. You wanted to see what he could do. I think he's been out there a little bit since then. Do you like what you've seen from him since then?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's little, but he doesn't play little. He doesn't play little because he can elevate and turn his body. Short guys that can't jump and turn in the air are hard targets to hit. But you can actually throw him open, and he's able to elevate and turn and make those catches. And it's nice to have him back out there because we need the time with the quarterbacks working with them to understand, where he's going to be, what his quickness gives us because he's super quick. And he's a hard matchup because of that quickness.
Y'all are also expecting him to be a big factor in the return game as a punt returner. You had a really good punt returner when you were here in Joe Adams. I'm curious, do you see any similarities there, or are they completely different? Just kind of how would you assess those guys?
Yeah, I think what we really need to do is get into the games and that so you guys can play it on the phone so I can watch it when I'm driving to work. You got new skills now. You can drive and watch at the same time. So I've been developing those pretty well because, to be honest with you, I don't spend any time at all watching special teams in practice. But I do remember him from a year ago, from what he did at UAB and, to lead the nation in 3 different categories and see what he did out, on the field. Very, very impressive. And his quickness as a receiver and his toughness, that would remind me a lot of Joe. Joe was unbelievably quick, change of direction, stop and go, and then tough and enjoying running the ball. When you got that mental toughness, it helps a lot.
You brought up Monte Harrison, made a lot of plays again. When you brought him in, as a guy that hadn't played in 10 years and was a lot older than all the other guys, did you realistically think, like, hey, this is a guy that can really actually help us on Saturdays, or has he maybe exceeded those expectations?
Yeah, I really didn't know. Didn't know a whole lot about him. Did go back and watch his high school tape, and very, very impressive the different things he did on high school tape. He was a good punt returner in high school. He lined up at quarterback a little bit in high school, and all those things were exciting. And then, I think when you this summer when you put up on the board all our players and their size, strength, speed, jumping ability, he just pops off the board going, man, this is unbelievable how talented this young man is, or old man is. I don't know what you call him, young or old. Still young to me, I can tell you that. But he is unbelievably talented, and now he understands football. He's been away from it for a long time. So he's done a great job for us so far. We got to keep it going.
It sounded like in the scrimmage, the offense did a lot better job taking care of the ball. Not a lot, if any, turnovers. Just to the extent that you can tell from a scrimmage and when you're not hitting the quarterback, how optimistic are you that the offense can take care of the ball better this year?
Yeah, we need to. There's no question about that. And, one of the things that helps you take care of the ball better is your pass protection. So we can secure the ball in the pocket and get the ball out of our hand and don't take those blind hits in the pocket. We've had a good emphasis on carrying the ball correctly at each position. When we get in traffic, chinning it and locking it. And I'm seeing those show up on video, so our coaches are doing a really good job of it.
Just to follow up on Braylon practicing harder, what have you seen of his progression from the first day of camp?
Yeah, he understands offense. He's been – last year as a true freshman, you come in and you don't really realize how much you play into pass protection. And, in high school, he probably didn't have to do it a whole lot, but he's taken it very, very seriously. He understands now how to use that big body and his strength because he's a very explosive guy. So that jumps out at you is how much better a pass protector he is, which allows him to play in the game first, second, and third down. So that's great.
If there's a position battle going on someplace other than quarterbacks, obviously you work with the quarterbacks, how much say would you have in that as coordinator?
A lot. We talk a lot. When you come in and have a meeting on the depth and on that, Coach Pittman's in there, I'm in there, and the position coaches are in there, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree, and Coach Pitt's the boss, so he makes the final decision, and then you figure out how to work guys into using what their skills are because there's a lot of starters on offense when you look at receivers, tight ends, running backs, fullbacks. It just happens to be what you trot out there in the first play of the game on who really starts. But we see it as a lot of starters on offense. Now, the O-line's a little bit different. That's the 5 guys you want to get together and get to know each other and stay together and work and rely on each other. So that's one where you don't rotate as much on the O-line. Although there's times in throughout my career that you've rotated a guard and each one of them plays about 50% of the game, and then they make each other better because they're not out there the entire game. They're fresh and never get worn down.
How much, as far as I know, in the scrimmages, it's been 1 versus 2s. How much of a good look, or how much have the 2s defenses or the 2s defense pushed your guys on the 1 offense?
Yeah, I mean the first scrimmage was mostly all 1s versus 1s, and then we did have 1 rack of 1s versus 2s. The last scrimmage you go 1 versus 2, so it's something where I just focus on the offense. I have no idea about that, but we're trying to execute and do what we can do offensively, and the combination of running the ball and the play action game and quick game and drop back game. You call scrimmages a little bit different than if you were really playing in a game, because a lot of it is we want to try our guys, we want to test them, we want to see what the boundaries are. So sometimes you'll run the ball 5 times in a row. Sometimes you'll throw it 4 or 5 times in a row just to see how we can stress our guys that are out there on the field.
If you guys had to play on Saturday, how confident or how good do you feel about your team if you guys had to have that quick of a turnaround?
I feel good about it. We're getting closer to where we need to be.
Last time we talked with you, you said C.J. Brown knows the offense better than anybody, which is high praise for a sophomore. Just what did you see from him this offseason to kind of get that type of confidence from you?
Well, really, it was last fall. He started, getting involved in the offense late in the season. He could run in there and add depth at 2 different positions. Had a nice bowl game. I thought he did a really good job in the preparation for the bowl game. Right now he's playing 2 different positions for us, and his skill set his quickness is really good inside, but he also has the really nice speed and routes that he can hit on the outside, and the quarterbacks feel good about where he's going to be on the deep throws. So he's going to have a good year for us. I'm happy.
Was on that 91-yard run that Talon checked out of a pass play, I guess. I guess he saw a blitz, and then Kittler made sure everything was right. Is that accurate? And how has Kittler been in terms of, I guess, but with his experience playing center in the past and bringing it to this year?
Yeah, Taylor made a good check. They like to say they got the freedom to check plays at the line of scrimmage. That's good, as long as they check it exactly what we want them to check to. We're in good shape with that. Kittler did a nice job in camp in the 2 weeks that we've had, really understanding what we want for him to take control of the O-line and have the confidence to make the calls and do it quickly. I really like what we've seen from him, and he's quick and sneaky, and that's what you have to be as a center. You got to be a little sneaky out there, and he's good at it.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks.